To another episode of the SD4L show. I'm Justin Thin. I'm here with my co-host Matt Sheehan. Matt, how you doing today?
Sensational. Are you kidding me? Have you been outside? I've been dreaming of this weather for months.
This is true.
This is fantastic weather, and we're going to get a lot more of it this Saturday. It is going to be a beautiful day for football on Saturday. Or
well said.
Practice or a scrimmage. Whatever it's going to be on Saturday, it's going to be quite the day for us.
I'm waiting for the day that you, come into the show, jumping up and down, pointing, and then saying, when I ask you how you're doing, just not very
terrible.
Good.
Yeah.
You're setting yourself up perfectly for that. But now I've kind of given away the opportunity. Now you can't do it.
Well, we'll see how the rest of life goes the next few weeks here, the next few Wednesdays. Who's to say? I don't know.
You see 2 interceptions in the spring game. You're just going to be in the gutter the next week.
Oh, I'll be beside myself. Yeah. I mean, just mascara running down my face. It's going to be just a horrible scene. But until then, we're going to keep the vibes high here, Justin.
Yeah.
I try at least.
So speaking of the spring game, or I guess the spring kickoff with the hope of a scrimmage component in there.
Some sort of football.
Yeah. I guess it's a good time to have someone that will be coaching in that game and someone that played in that game several times.
Recently?
At a high level.
Huh.
Yeah.
It's Antjuan Simmons.
It is. Hopefully somebody
Antjuan
saw
Simmons.
the promo. Yeah.
What an introduction. We are only professionals over here, Antjuan. There we go. We keep a high class over here.
Antjuan, how you doing today? Thanks for joining us, man.
No, I'm doing good, man. Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be on the show. I've seen a couple guys and coaches and stuff come on and speak with you guys, so I'm excited to be here.
There we go. And none of them texted you to not avoid the show at all costs, so that's good.
Yeah.
We're rolling, dude. I think we're doing good.
Yeah, that's a good start.
That's what I'm talking about.
So, Antjuan, you last month, started at Michigan State as a graduate assistant. In the very first year of the Mel Tucker era, you were a captain, obviously starting linebacker, storied career at Michigan State. First question off the top, what has it been like settling into your role as a graduate assistant?
It's been completely new, being a player versus now being a coach, looking at the game, the team and everything from a different aspect. It's completely new, but it's something that I've been wanting to do for quite some time now since I was actually a player on campus. So I'm just excited to be here, excited to have the opportunity to be able to give back to the program and make the program better.
What do they got you doing over there? I mean, I know it's a very broad question, but yeah, give us the LinkedIn page right now. What's your day-to-day like over at the program?
Oh, working with the linebackers, man.
There we go.
Helping Hayes out, helping the guys out, other coaches, wherever help is needed. That's where I'm trying to be at. I'll provide value in any aspect I can.
So, Antjuan, take us behind the scenes of what it's like your first week on the job. You're coming in. This is your first time with a job on an NCAA staff as a coach. I'm guessing there's some sort of training and compliance stuff. What are the first few days? What is on your plate in that span?
A lot of paperwork, making sure you're good. You don't have any issues, none from the past, or no issues as far as recruiting and everything like that. Make sure we're abiding by NCAA rules and regulations. And first couple of days was I'm not gonna say bullets flying past me, but things were moving pretty fast. The good thing was I kind of had the chance to get up there right before spring ball started. Get the playbook. Get myself reacclimated, get to meet all the new faces around, speak to the players and everything, get a feel for everything before spring ball started. I had about 2-3 days of that, and then spring break hit, and then spring ball came. So the good thing was though that spring ball hit right there, so I was able to hop in and kind of just go. And spring ball is we practice 3 times a week. So it's not like the season. So I actually will have this spring to get my feet completely up under me, get a real good grip on the playbook, and also getting to know the guys and the program and stuff. Just learning, to be honest. Like you guys said, this is my first time being on this side of the game, and I'm excited to be here. So I'm just trying to soak everything up and do as best as I can.
And how hard is that to be on the other side now? I mean, you're only 3 years removed from playing. Like, is it hard not to really be out there? Like, do you ever see a receiver, just walk by you, you just want to lay the wood on him as he's coming across you? Okay, that's good. All right, keep them on their toes. Good.
Oh, yeah. No, I still have that. I still talk trash to the guys. Actually, Kobe was talking trash to me during the weightlifting a couple of days ago. He betted me that I couldn't do an exercise with this really heavy, strict band. And at first I was like, no, I'm not going to do it. You got it, man. That's for you guys. I'm not messing with it anymore. And I couldn't help myself. I had to put the darn band on and actually do it. And I did it. But afterwards, I'm like, wow. God, man.
Yeah, right.
I don't know if I missed this.
Still got it, though. You still got it.
Just a little bit.
So, Antjuan, you were a player. Obviously, you see things differently, or you're in a different part of your life. You're younger. For some people, maybe less mature. When you are in a coaching role, you have different responsibilities, different ways of looking at things. What is something you know now as a coach, whether it's something you learned in the last few weeks, whether it's something you learned when you were high school coaching? What's something you know now as a coach that you wish you knew as a player?
That's a good one.
Thank you. I try.
Yeah, that was good. Oh man, I'd say being extremely critical of yourself. You know what I mean? Being honest with yourself. Like looking back, like there was games like I played good, but now looking back on those games, it's like I could have played even better than that. So just really understanding the game,
right?
Not just going out there and playing and trying to lead and make as many plays as I possibly can. It's not just that, but it's being the best absolute player that you can possibly be every
right.
Not just 75% of the snaps or 80%.
Right.
Every single play, impacting the game in every way, shape, or form.
Right. Yeah.
And I know that you're still just getting to know these guys a little bit, but is there any linebacker right now that you work with that is kind of almost hitting that mark, that 100% of the time mark so far?
I'm honestly due to spring ball, man. Guys are in and out, up and down. We're constantly rotating guys, changing guys. So it's really it's been hard for me to actually see the guys really, really turn it loose. Really turn it loose, and we're in a practice setting. So the number one goal in practice setting is keep everyone safe, make sure we all get to the end of practice without any major injuries. So a lot of our guys, I'm not going to say haven't had the opportunity to really truly turn it loose, but for the most part, all of our guys are going as hard as they possibly can within the means of practice. And doing everything they can, and for the most part, all the guys across the board are getting better. From the first practice we had up until now, we have multiple guys in our room that look like complete different players, and the guys who don't just haven't had the opportunity to practice. They haven't been able to get the reps, but the guys who have been practicing have been getting better and become better football players. And I'm excited to see what they're going to do in the fall, especially with spring ball coming up to an end. We actually had a chance to see what guys have gotten better at, what guys are lacking at, and then build on that in the summertime, build on it in camp, and then by the time the football season comes around, man, I'm expecting some really good things from our team.
Love to hear it. Very exciting.
Fair enough. Yeah.
So, Antjuan, when you were at Michigan State, you were, as I said on the top, you were the first year of the Mel Tucker era. Now you're coming back. The fourth season of the Mel Tucker era is starting. Obviously, Coach always says the standard is the standard and the expectations are the same. But in terms of the vibe, the day-to-day, the energy, how is the program different today than it was when you graduated? Is there any difference, or I guess I'll just leave it open-ended. What's it like compared to now back to then?
Everything matters. Everything matters. I said this I think it was last week when I had the media. We look at everything, from the way we put our helmets down, to the socks we're wearing, to the gear we have on, to the way we come in the building, to the way we sit in meetings, the way we talk to each other. Everything is being not evaluated, but it's being looked at, because we want to make sure our culture is a winning culture, something that can get us to that Big Ten championship, to the college football national championship. That's what we're trying to get to. So the expectations have to be high. The bar has to be set at a very high level, and it must be met. Like Coach says, the standard is the standard. We're not moving the bar down. If anything, the only place that bar can go is up.
There we go. I like the way that sounds. Yeah. I want to go back to your playing days really quick, and specifically when D'Antonio left and then Mel Tucker was hired on. One of the things that really just sticks out to me as a memory is just how prevalent you were in the transition. I mean, you were the vocal leader of the team. I believe you also spoke at the press conference when Mel Tucker was introduced as well. Was that something that you just went ahead and grabbed, or was there someone in the program who was like, hey, do you mind doing all this? Or like, how did that all come about where you were just such a strong leader during, I mean, it wasn't, a turbulent situation, but it was definitely a unique situation for a college kid to be a part of. So how did that come together?
Yeah. How did that happen? I think it was a couple people from the university asked about if I was willing to do that. And,
gotcha.
Represent us players. But it wasn't just me there, though. I was accompanied by Matt Allen, Xavier Henderson, AJ Curry, Noah Harvey. I think Jacob Hanashu was there with me, too. There was 6 of us, I think. And we were all there. Of course, we showed up with our nice pants, our polos, varsity jackets and stuff. And we were just honored to be there, and even throughout that process, people from the university was constantly coming over to weightlifting or speaking with us, constantly keeping us, reassured that they were finding someone. They were just making sure that it was the dude and they got their guy.
Gotcha.
We were excited to hear that they were bringing Coach Tucker in.
Yeah,
there we go.
Yeah. So Antjuan, when you were a player, you had a lot of great memories. I would ask you, what is the number one memory that sticks out to you from your entire playing career?
Oh man, that's hard. I had a lot of good times, man.
You sure did. Yeah.
Oh man. I'd say the Holiday Bowl in 2017. That's like one of my favorite memories. Of course, Michigan game my senior year. Northwestern game that year. Indiana my junior year too in 2019 when we played Indiana at home. Yeah, and that was a really good game, and we pulled that one out, and that was I think that tied Coach D's winning record. Right. What else was it? What else? Those are like my my big memories. Right. that I constantly I might casually think about one day. Driving to work, driving home or something. But that Holiday Bowl, that Michigan game, and that Indiana game, those are like 3 of my favorite memories right there.
Sometimes I think of that Michigan, too, when I'm driving home, I'm going to be honest. I got about 57 questions about that game specifically, but I'll try to just keep it to a couple here. And one is something that happened before the game. I think the spread came out. You guys were 24-point underdogs, like some insane number. The first week did not go good for the good guys here. Michigan looked really good in week 1, and oh my God, it's a 24-point spread. If you don't know anything about gambling, guys, that's a massive number. Did you guys as a team know that you guys were that heavy of underdogs? I mean, maybe not know the spread exactly, but did you know that the persona around this game was going to be, holy crap, we're supposed to lose by like 3 or 4 touchdowns?
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. We all knew that. We all knew we weren't, like, nobody was picking us. We all knew that. The only people we had was us and our fans, and that was it, man. But that's nothing that we're due to, especially with that game. there's been a lot of times throughout the rivalry where they've been heavily favored and we came out with the dub. So that's not something that we actually like pay attention to and let affect us, but we do see it though. When it pops up on the timeline or you come in one day and something might be on your locker or it's okay. All right. Who knows?
Interesting. Yeah. Okay. There we go.
Yeah.
We just show up and play, man.
Yeah, I always like that about the Michigan State culture. It's like you hear other coaches around the conference or other coaches around the country. They're always saying, "Oh, every game is the same. There's no such thing as bulletin board material." And like nobody believes this.
No.
Like you're playing your biggest rival.
Oh yeah.
If you're openly saying, yes, we really want to beat him, yes, we know all the narratives, and we're using it as fuel, to me, that is why I think Michigan State has won so many games as underdogs. Antjuan, how would you describe the way that Michigan State kind of approaches the rivalry game as a whole? And do you think that approach is one of the reasons why Michigan State has that success?
The best way I can say it is they don't like us and we don't like them. You know what I mean? Like that's the simplest way to say it. It's a mutual thing. It goes back and forth. So yeah. I don't want to ruffle anyone's feathers.
Okay, here's question number 2 out of 57 about that game that I have for you right here. I'm going to try not to get you in the hot water here, but after the game, a game where you had, I think it was 98 tackles, you had a few pass breakups, you did everything on defense that game, and then after Michigan quarterback Joe Milton was asked about you, and then Tennessee great Joe Milton, that is, he was asked about your performance, and he said, "Who's that?" Now, me, from my house, I cackled so loud it woke up the entire neighborhood when I saw that quote. But I got to know, like, when you heard that after the game, were you kind of changed the trajectory of that game? What was your reaction? I just have to know.
Yeah.
I got to know.
Yeah. I'll tell you the story how I found out, actually. I was just getting back. We just got done celebrating. I think I was at my locker or something. Rocky had just got done doing media, and he was like, "Hey man, I just want to let you know that their quarterback Joe Milton, he didn't know who you were." Like,
okay.
Like, I'm like, huh? Like, yeah, they asked him in the press conference if he knew who you were and like if you were any good or anything, and he was like, no, like he didn't like know who you were. And I was like, oh well, I'll address that in the conference. But I mean, we got Paul Payne in our locker room, so who cares?
Oh man, that's one of my favorite memories of just this rivalry in the last like decade or two. Like it was like, here, I'll say this, not you. It was just peak Michigan. Like,
yeah, it was great. Yeah, that is a one-sentence summary of Michigan.
Oh, it was amazing. Like, we just got tatted at home as 3.5 touchdown favorites, and I'm just gonna play the who's that game.
Yeah.
Like that's the card.
Just admitting they don't watch tape.
Okay, right. Yeah. Who needs tape?
Yeah.
Tape schmave, you know? Yeah. So
right.
Had to ask about that though.
It's on I think my last question from you. So when you were hired, the first thing that came into my mind was having someone that is so recently removed from the program, someone that's young, someone that's relatable to all the kids of the current generation that are being recruited these days. What I saw immediately was that you could be one of the most valuable recruiting GA hires that probably across the country that I've heard of this year and in recent years. Do you view it that way, or are you more of just gravitating towards the coaching side? And if you are thinking about how powerful of a recruiter you could be, why do you think that is in your words?
Honestly, it's kind of a both. Trying to figure out the coaching thing and figure out the recruiting thing. Because sure, we all know this now. Recruiting is completely different than it was even when I was in high school.
Yeah,
I just graduated in 2017. So it's completely different now. These dudes got NIL deals. It's so much more. Like it's so much more that these recruits have access to now, without having to worry about getting in trouble with the NCAA or the respective conferences that they're looking to play for. So it adds a whole another component, you know. So it's trying to learn that, and figure my path out through that. But I do feel that I can be a really good recruiter, especially me being there, played there, graduated from there. It means something to me being a Spartan, and then I'm also personable dude, straight shooter. Tell you how it is. Tell you if I like you. Tell you if I don't.
Yeah.
I honest in my eyes, that's all you can do. What recruit these youths is be upfront, be honest with them, be transparent, and try as hard as you can to get the dudes on campus, right?
Yeah.
Amen. There we go. And last question I got for you, Antjuan. And you know what? Here's for honesty and transparency. What is it going to take for you to get on the field, padded up this Saturday, just laying the wood against these guys? What do we have to do to see you one more time out there in the field on Saturday?
No, we got enough dudes out there, man.
Okay.
I'm gonna let these dudes shine and do their thing. My time is past. I want to see our dudes now and our dudes in the future. Play and be successful. My time is done. Which I have no problem saying that.
Well, good for you. That's awesome.
I have a problem with Antjuan saying his time is done because he enrolled the same year I enrolled. He graduated when I graduated.
Oh, man.
So for him to say that he's washed and a thing of the past, I feel extremely old with you saying that sentiment. So,
Shoot.
but Antjuan,
I do too, man.
Yeah, but Antjuan, we really appreciate all your time. You were very, very generous with your time. Great insight that you gave us. Thanks a lot for coming on, and just excited to see your coaching career take off.
No, thank you, man. Thank you. I appreciate you guys having me. This was a good time. Time you guys won't want to have me on, just let me know.
For sure, man.
As long as it's not during the season, you guys are trying to get some intel out of me. We're good.
Yeah, we'll see you every Saturday night. Yeah, we're gonna squeeze every drop of juice out of you. It's
gonna figure out how many times they're gonna call Engage 8 against Michael Penix, and that's gonna be the first topic we're gonna look to talk about during the season.
Every injury, every game. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be awesome. Yes, can't wait. But no, you're the man, Antjuan.
Yeah,
really
thanks,
appreciate it, man.
Antjuan. Appreciate it.
Thank you. I appreciate you guys. You guys have a good one.
Yes, sir. You too.
You have a better one. I love that guy. That guy's awesome.
Awesome.
Loved him playing. It's awesome to see him back on the staff. I mean, you can't get enough great guys like that in the program.
Oh,
It's nice to see him back in the doors inside the walls of the football center at East Lansing.
100%. I think as he articulated in the second to last question, personable, recently removed.
Yep.
He's going to be a great recruiter. I think Michigan State had Jaron Duhart, DB's GA, who his eligibility as a GA ran out. He moved on to Ohio State. I think the impact that he had, which was a great one, I think Antjuan can have an even bigger impact in that role, recruiting linebackers. Coaching, obviously, he was very smart. He had great football instincts. He can pass that along. He's going to be a great teacher, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But recruiting-wise, if you can have a GA that can go toe-to-toe with actual position coaches, which I think Antjuan can do, which Jaron did consistently, I think this is going to be one of the most underrated hires that Michigan State has made off the field in a few years. I think with the BT Jordan hire, that was one that we kind of all saw how impactful that could be.
Yeah.
The Dyron Reynolds hire, I think that one is starting to sound like it was very underrated, but a couple underrated hires this offseason, and Antjuan's the face of that, and great discussion that we had there.
Yeah, and no doubt in my mind he's going to be a solid coach, just the way he played the game. I mean, there's the physical limitations that people always talk about is like, oh, he's a little too short, he's not as fast as everyone else, but he played the game 2 steps ahead of everyone else, and that's why he had so many great games, like, especially, that Michigan game his senior year. I mean, so he was just an awesome linebacker, and no doubt he's going to be a great coach.
That's a great point, because if you think about who the most successful coaches are, it's not the guys that went ahead and played like 12 years of professional football or basketball.
Yeah, the guys that ran like a 4.34.
Exactly.
Yeah,
it's the guys that were actually talented and they knew what they were doing. It was other factors, like not checking certain boxes in the combine, specifications of you have to be this high, your arms have to be this long. It's the guys that really knew what was happening, and then they get into coaching immediately. They have high energy and they're personable. Those are the guys that do well in coaching. And that's what we have here with Antjuan.
There we go.
Really exciting.
Not thrilled, pumped, ecstatic, stoked, over the moon, if you will.
Yes.
Justin, same with this, where do you want to take this next? Do you want to take it to the new offensive line commit that just happened, or do you
can
want
do
to
that.
take it just to the offensive line as a whole? Dealer's choice. You're the host. I'm just the clown that sits in the chair across from you.
The co-host, yes. That's
the word. Yeah, that's great. Thank you.
The offensive line, either topic is great. It's always good to talk about the O-line, but we can start with Andrew Dennis.
Let's do it.
We can start with the most recent commit of the Michigan State 2024 class. 3-star offensive lineman who he projects to right tackle.
Okay.
And he committed to Michigan State earlier this week. There you see his graphic and his open letter when he committed. So great pickup there. Matt, what was, I guess, your first impression? And then I can talk about him a little bit as a player as well.
Yeah, immediately is just, versatility. I mean, this kid said as much in any piece that you read, whether Ben Spartan's Illustrated 24/7 Sports, On 3. I mean, it just talked about, hey, you could kind of plug this kid in anywhere. I mean, and he does have the footwork to do it. It was well storied that, hey, former hockey player, he played growing up, and that is a different, skill, obviously, of football, but really high emphasis on footwork, which, okay, that's what you need to play offensive line here. Obviously has the build for it as well, and the wingspan as well. You know, it's a solid wingspan on him too. So, yeah, he can project as like a Spencer Brown type guy, if you will, at right tackle, just like you said, or, hey, kick him inside if you really need to. So, yeah, I mean, it's just another good offensive line pickup. I mean, because, Coach Cap, Mel Tucker, the gang is stacking together these classes with solid offensive linemen. So that was my instant reaction to just how versatile and well-rounded this kid can be. Yeah,
very, very well said. Yeah. You pretty much got it all covered there. The hockey angle, big for sure.
Yeah.
He added, I think, 3 inches and tons of pounds to his frame since his hockey days, but he still kept that athleticism, kept his feet. Corey Robinson dove deep into that angle in his article after the commitment. But yeah, so Mount Pleasant native, came in, I think, 6'5", 280, above 280 at a recent visit at Michigan State. So they're going to start him at right tackle. They're going to cross-train him. He can kick inside if he needs to, or he can stay at right tackle. So I think I like the pattern of Coach Cap here, getting his top in-state offensive line commit, or his top in-state offensive line prospect committed the last 2 cycles. Last cycle, Cole Dellinger, in Cap's opinion, was the best in-state offensive lineman.
Gotcha.
I believe one other prospect was ranked ahead, but that was number 1 on Michigan State's board. He got him last year. Sounds like Cole's doing really well. We'll talk about that in the next segment. Now you've done the same here with obviously Andrew Dennis. So you have the opportunity now to go ahead, get the best player in the state of Michigan early, and now look around and try to be a little more pickier and go ahead and get the best talent nationally. So love the blueprint, love the philosophy that Cap is showing here.
Yeah, it's the best thing that MSU football has going for recruiting lately. It's just like how well they're doing with the trench recruiting.
Yeah.
No question. And also, too, just one other tidbit I want to add about the Andrew Dennis thing is just like the story of his commitment to Michigan State. Like, it wasn't an instant offer. Like, he did visit Michigan State a few times, and then Coach Cap said, at first, like, hey, you look good, but this is what we want to see you do before we formally offer you. And he came back, checked out all the boxes. So, yeah, I mean, that's a good head start on a good working relationship between player and coach. So, just a nice little tidbit. I saw it.
Definitely, for sure.
But let's get the offensive line talk.
The guys that are there now.
How about that?
Yeah. So, essentially, the way that I look at the offensive line right now is when you look at any position group and you're talking about, is the position group getting better? In my opinion, look at the quality of play you're going to be getting from the starters.
Okay.
Compared to years past.
It's a good start.
And the depth at that position compared to years past. And the first metric of those two, in terms of the level of play from the starters, I think Michigan State will be better than it has been the past few years. Not drastically better. A lot of the same guys, especially left guard and center. Right tackle shouldn't be too much of a jump up. Blackstock we'll see. Right guard is a battle. So I don't know if the starter level play will be drastically better, but it will be better. The depth.
Talk to me.
Astronomically improved from where it was just a few years, just from last year. It's been well documented. Coach Cap has talked about it. Everyone's really talked about it. Last year at this time, they had not enough guys to have a full offensive. You had 4 scholarship offensive linemen by the spring game.
That's a problem.
And then now you look at this year, you have they didn't put a number on it since they have more than enough, but the way I look at it is you have probably 2 full shifts of offensive line at least of just scholarship guys, if not more. The reason for having such better depth and at least equal, if not better, starting play from the offensive line is continuity, lack of attrition, which I guess go hand in hand. Guys are not leaving because you're not missing on them.
Sure.
And to that point, a high hit rate in recruiting. So if you're landing guys, you're identifying the right guys, you're getting them on campus, you're developing them to the point where they are staying and are not, I guess, flailing out. That is how you get to this point. You have guys like Stanton Ramel, Keyshawn Blackstock, Cole Dellinger, the 3 signees from the 2023 class. Coach Cap said publicly those 3 newcomers have come in at a level higher than any other newcomer so far.
Gotcha. Wow.
At Michigan State.
Okay.
Stanton Ramel is a future franchise left tackle type in college. Future NFL draft pick frame. Obviously, you have to prove that, but he has all the tools. Blackstock, he will be starting at one of the 2 tackle spots this upcoming season. Dellinger, probably the center that'll take over after Nick Samac. Hopefully redshirt freshman next year. Yeah. Maybe a year after that. We'll see. Those 3 guys, high hit rates. Let's backtrack another year before that.
Let's do it.
2022. Ashton Lepo, Braden Miller, the 2 tackles.
Yeah.
Both were outside of the top 800, if I'm not mistaken. Braden Miller was unranked nationally. Those guys, Braden Miller has come in, and he has probably put himself in that conversation with Stanton Ramel, the next left tackle.
Okay.
And then you have gaining 40 pounds since the day he signed, Ashton Lepo. He could be the next starting right tackle. So again, nobody knows who's going to be the next starter. Nobody knows exactly where the pecking order is yet. Not even Cap, not even the players, because every day they're getting better. But nobody's a bust. Chris Phillips, Gavin Brocious. Unfortunately, Gavin Brocious hurt his leg. Those 2 guys were battling squarely for the right guard spot with Gino Vandermark from Cap's 2021 class.
Yep.
Also in that class, Kevin Wigginton. He's doing what I think he's in the 2 deep right now.
Okay.
Every single person that Cap has signed for the most part, maybe other than 1 or 2 here or there, they are ahead of schedule. So I say all of this in this monologue to say Michigan State is landing guys that even if the recruiting sites are not saying they're highly valued, he is identifying them, he is landing them, he is developing them, and he is keeping them. And Michigan State's depth and for at least a little bit, their starting level is already improving. The long-term potential of this offensive line room couldn't be in a better spot.
Couldn't have said any better. I mean, yeah, that's JT on the 1s and 2s right there, man. How come when I gained 40 pounds in my first 2 years at State, like, no one applauded me for it? I was just kind of looked at like, is he okay? Like, do we need to intervene here? But so double standard there. But yeah, I mean, that's awesome. But yeah, about like Lepo and Braden Miller too is like they had the frames all along, and like to get the potential out of those frames, you need solid coaching. So, yeah, I mean, it's just a joy that Coach Cap is still, at Michigan State, because we know that programs have tried to pry him away. And it's getting the potential out of your guys early on, but also just the continuity of, knowing that this coach will be here is that those 2 things go hand in hand with solid positional recruiting. So we're seeing it pay off in spades right now.
I talked to the parents of 2 2025 offensive line recruits here in the last few months. They're early in the process. They don't know a lot about Michigan State. They don't know a lot about Coach Cap. The first thing they said is he turned down USC and Georgia. That tells me he's going to be here for a while. Can't wait to visit. And that's it.
Bang.
That's all. That gets you in the door. That piques the kids' interest.
Proof in the pudding right
there.
So,
great point there by you. That's definitely...
Great points by you. We're having a great points off right now. We're just playing great point tennis over here. Look at us go. Nice. Do you have any other great points about recruiting by any chance?
Let's do a recruiting roundup.
Okay.
Let's go ahead and move to that segment of the show.
Wow, I just guessed.
Yeah.
Thank God I was right.
Yeah. It's not like we have a show sheet.
We have a show sheet?
We have a show.
Oh my God. Wow.
We've done a great job just winging it.
I've been doing a crossword puzzle over here the entire time. Okay. All right. Go get him, champ.
So, Cap, as we have already been talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah? Yeah. A lot of guys that he's gotten already, past classes, the current class.
Sure.
He has also gotten a lot of kids to visit. Early in the class, obviously, not many of them have committed, only Andrew Dennis so far. But if you look at kind of the reporting that we're doing in the industry of who's visiting in the spring, who has visited, basically the biggest takeaway is the offensive line, which makes sense. It's usually the biggest component of a class. But that is the group that is visiting in waves right now. There's quite a few guys. Mike Williams from Baltimore. He's a kid that Michigan State got on really early. Now he is blowing up. You have another offensive tackle, I believe also from Baltimore, at the very least from the East Coast, Logan Bennett. I believe he is still unranked, and I don't think too many schools have gotten on there yet. he's a kid that's going to be blowing up. If he goes on a camp circuit all across the country, those offers will start rolling in this summer. He's 6'5", 6'6", maybe 310. He can play guard. Probably will play guard if he chooses Michigan State. Maybe tackle for some schools, but he's a guy that we're watching just closely because Cap has gotten there first. So if Michigan State can reel him in soon, that would be nice. If not, you'll get to see him blow up and maybe a heated battle there. But just again, the theme: offensive line visitors, big thing here in the spring. One of the thoughts that I've seen circulating is right now Michigan State doesn't have a lot of commits, and I guess that's true. I'm sure there's schools that have 4, 5, 6, 7 commits. But the thing is, at this point last year, Michigan State had 3 commits before the spring game.
Okay, interesting. Yeah.
So it looks bad right now just because you're at 3 because you have a decommitment already from Nick Marsh. 2 of the commits you have, they're far away. They're highly sought after by everybody. You don't know if they're going to end up signing just because that's the nature of recruiting these days. But fact of the matter is, last year when they had 3 recruits at 3 commits at this time, nobody was complaining. It seemed like a great number. It was knock it out of the park in June, knock it out of the park in the fall. Fall, kind of debatable whether they did or not, but it's not really that they're lagging behind right now. It's you gotta do a great job in June. You got to do a great job in the fall. So I don't really worry about the pace.
Okay.
Pace is good at this point. Just got to maximize your OVs. Got to maximize the in-game visits during the fall, and I think they're in a good spot right there in the regard of how many commits they have right now.
I'll take your word for it.
Sounds good.
Do you promise?
Yeah, it's not like you're going to dig up this audio and hold it against me.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, just clip that, keep it as a receipt. No, it'll be nice. But no, yeah I mean, there's a long way to go.
Right.
As exciting like recruiting is around these parts these days, there's a little bit of patience.
Yeah.
That has to be added there.
And then the spring game visitors list, the best that we can confirm, that list will be out probably Friday on 24/7 Sports. The Spartan Tailgate will probably have that pinned. The last note I have here recruiting-wise, we talked about it last week. We'll talk about it again next week. But Jesse McCulloch, 2024 4-star power forward from Ohio. He is announcing on April 20th. So Michigan State has the crystal balls there, and we will talk about that next episode. And
nice.
That is all on the recruiting roundup, Matt.
And that's the church of Justin Thin right there. I've left you out to dry here. You've done a lot of talking in the last 10-15 minutes. I'm sorry, but man, you're the man with all the knowledge here. That is a good rundown on all things football, especially with the spring game going on with recruiting. So
enough about football, Matt.
Yeah, let's switch it up. Let's get on the hardwood right now. God, what an exciting week for Michigan State. Tyson Walker coming back. Awesome. Great. I could do you also one better. Malik Hall within 24 hours announcing his return to Michigan State as well the very next day. And what else can you say other than this is just thrilling news? I mean, yes, it is news that we all kind of somewhat expected. I think if you asked anyone that knew anything, they were probably saying, yeah, odds are they're both coming back. But hey, college basketball, college sports, anything can happen these days. So it's nice to see these guys not put the pen to paper. They didn't really have to sign anything, but we're just going to call it that, just sign for another year, if you will. This is an embarrassment of riches now for Michigan State. I mean, last year, what do we talk about going into the year? Okay, well, we're kind of lacking depth here. And you saw that play out during the season as well, as Michigan State was down Malik Hall, down Jaden Akins in that PK 85 and a few games around that. This year, you got 12 guys that could play at a Big Ten championship level. So I guess the one negative I could see with all this is that, Tom, good luck figuring out the lineups here going into next season, because this is a lot of guys that are talented enough to play. But, hey, that's why you're the Hall of Fame coach. And that is a great problem to have going into the season with quite the opposite of a depth problem here. You now are one of the deepest teams, not just in the Big Ten, but probably the country as well. With experience, of course, you're going to have 3 guys that are over the age of 23 when this season tips off. You got A.J. Hogarth, Tyson Walker, Malik Hall. And then, hey, have you heard about this recruiting class coming in?
No.
Top 3 in the nation, JT. So you got your great balance of experience. You also have talent in that experience as well, but also the fresh blood coming in. Those guys can hoop as well. So it is just a great cocktail of everything that you want in a basketball team. Can we start the season next week, please?
Yeah.
I don't know if I can wait this long.
That would be Izzo is already looking to schedule the big games, as we know, he has a tendency to do.
Oh, yeah.
Arizona, Tommy Lloyd's program.
Yeah.
They will be playing them in Palm Springs, California, at Acrisure Arena. Acrisure, the company of MSU donor Greg Williams. And that'll be an interesting game.
Yep.
Arizona always has the athletes.
And the length.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And rumored to get point guard Ryan Nemhard from Katin.
Oh, fascinating.
In the portal.
Okay.
So that'll be a great game, a great barometer.
Yeah.
I believe Duke is on the docket.
Yep.
So that's going to be good. Michigan State has the horses this year. They have the athleticism on the wings. This will be a great year to go through the gauntlet. Last year, they didn't have the depth really for it. Still kind of held their own.
Yeah.
Beat Kentucky, competed with Gonzaga till the very end. So it'll be even better next year to see them go through the gauntlet.
Yeah, I mean, you got two of the teams that are in the top 5 for the national title odds on the schedule already next year. Michigan State is tied for 3rd in national title odds with Kentucky and Arizona. And then that's 15-1 right now on FanDuel. And then 11-1, it's tied between UConn and Duke, which Duke, of course, playing in the Champions Classic. I mean, God, you talk about a deep team with nice incoming talent as well. Like, that could very well be a 1-2 game next year. I know that UConn is probably going to get a lot of the votes, and they probably will enter the season at number 1, but it's not out of the question. It'll definitely be a top 5 game. Yeah. No doubt. But yeah, man, it's going to be a very exciting year. And yeah, of course, you can always count on Mr. Izzo to do the anyone, any place, any time, and play that out to get the boys ready for a long, grueling Big Ten season.
All for it.
I'm thrilled, man. Yeah. I'm just stoked. I mean, like Tyson Walker coming back. You know what? We'll get into some fun stats here in a little bit.
Okay.
To our facts one as well.
Okay.
Maybe.
Sounds good.
Probably. We will. I'm happy.
Do we want to talk about those fun stats right now? Or do we? Okay, let's do it.
I think that's a you question. Are you ready? Are you ready?
Yeah, let's get it out of the way.
All right, that's the spirit. There we go.
2-8 is my record for those keeping track. I'm keeping track.
I wasn't going to say it. This is a game. That's right. That Justin is going to do well at today. Folks, that's right. It's called 2 Are Facts, 1 is Whack. I got 3 statements here. 2 of them are true. 1 of them's not true. Imagine that. Oh, the pain on the face already? Oh, no. Okay, here we go. The theme is, hey, the guys that just announced their return to come back next season, Malik Hall and Tyson Walker. Are you ready for the first statement? All right. MSU has 2 of the top 5 returning 3-point shooters by percentage in the Big Ten going into next season. MSU has 2 of the top 5 returning 3-point shooters by percentage in the Big Ten going into next season. Statement number 2. Malik Hall has the best free throw percentage amongst returning players next season for Michigan State. Malik Hall has the best free throw percentage from last year going into the next season amongst players from Michigan State. That would be your second statement. Are you ready for number 3, Justin? Okay. Outside of centers, Tyson Walker has the best at the rim field goal percentage of all returners on this team. Again, that is outside of the center position. So outside of centers, Tyson Walker has the best at the rim field goal percentage of all returners. You probably could have left it including centers. You'd be surprised.
Oh, okay.
You'd be surprised. Madi Sissoko is actually the top.
Okay. Very interesting.
I will throw that nugget in there.
Okay.
2 Are Facts, 1 is Whack. What do you got for us?
Usually I take a long time. I think through it. I second guess myself.
Oh, we're going quick shot today?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's go.
This time, I think the first one I believe is true.
Okay.
I believe that AJ Hoggard for most of the season was the leading free throw shooter, but I know he started to miss a few late in February, so I don't know if that altered things. I should just start reading the team stats sheet like every night before bed. Third one, yeah, Tyson Walker is like undefeated around the rim. Akins was up there. Hoggard doesn't miss around the rim, so I guess I've turned this into one of those where I'm thinking about it for a while.
Yeah, that's okay.
I was gonna quickly just go and say the second one's false.
But here we are. Mr. Thin. I believe in you.
I'm just waiting for me to say an answer.
Maybe I don't actually.
And then you're gonna say, actually the second. All right, the one that's false.
Yes.
Is I'm gonna go against my instincts and I'm gonna say the third one is false.
Folks. He did it. He got it. He is back in the win column. The third one was indeed false. Look at you go. Outside of centers, Tyson Walker does not have the best at the rim field goal percentage of all returners. That is Malik Hall. That is the other guy that announced his return. He is at 62.1% at the rim this season. Tyson Walker, still really solid, 56% at the rim. That's actually a 12-point jump from where he was his first year at Michigan State. So he went from 44% to 56%, which is... that's amazing. Like, the guy's got a great finishing package around the rim. The other ones, yes, MSU is 2 of the top 5 returners in three-point shooters by percentage in the Big Ten. Indiana's Trey Galloway is number 1. Jaden Akins, number 2. Cam Spencer, number 3. And Tyson Walker, number 4. And then Malik Hall did have the best free throw percentage amongst returning players going into next season, 84.6%. So there you have it. Look at you go. What you got to feel great right now.
If I gave that quick answer right away, like I was originally planning, it was going to be the second one.
Okay.
So I'm
it's
glad
going to go off the hip.
Yeah.
There we go. I like that. There we go. Look at you. The vibes can't be higher right now, can they?
No, I don't think
There
so.
we go. That's what I'm talking about.
3-8 has never felt so good.
No, you're going to bang out a few more wins here. You're going to be like the Lions. You know, you had a real big lull in the middle of the season, but you're going to charge to a potential playoff push here in a little bit. I believe in you.
Sounds like a plan.
I got faith in you.
I like the vision.
Thank you. Yeah, there we go.
Speaking of the vision, the Big Ten has a new commissioner.
What a segue.
In charge.
Look at this
with
guy.
a new vision in place, hopefully. Maybe not.
That was great. That was great.
The Big Ten has hired Tony Petiti. Possibly, I think that's how you pronounce it.
Sure.
Petiti.
Yeah, it just sounds incredibly Italian.
Yeah, it sounds about right.
Yep.
He is joining the Big Ten from a wide background in all of sports, basically. He was most recently actually at Activision Blizzard, where he was in charge of marketing, I believe, for their sports section. And prior to that, he worked with the MLB. Over there, he was predominantly responsible for TV and marketing, business development, really new ventures, things of that nature. So he's not to blame for any of the new rules or anything if people are against those.
Sure.
Before that, CBS Sports. He was responsible for March Madness TV contracts, so thankfully he knows a little bit about March Madness, as well as the Super Bowl. Very, very high stakes. 2 contracts right there. Probably CBS Sports' 2 highest contracts along with the Masters. So you're looking at a guy that really knows TV deals.
Yeah.
You know, a guy that knows about business development. We'll see what he knows about expansion and things of that nature, but it seems like that area is going to be settling down here for a while. Nobody's trying to make a 28-team super conference or anything like that here in the near future. So seems like he knows the money side of things. He knows how to close deals. He knows how to make deals, and we'll see where he goes from here. But he was described as he was a self-described college football fan. He told Haverford College, where he graduated with his undergrad from, he told them in a school newspaper in 2005 that he is a college football super fan.
Okay.
So this was well before he was lobbying for any sort of college football job. So that's good to hear. And yeah, he was actually doing the Super Bowl a long time ago, and his background in football should be strong.
And of course, TV contracts are all the rage these days in the Big Ten. That's certainly the fact right there. It's look, it's exciting. It's going to be a mystery until we see a few years go into this regime under Tony Petiti right there. The one thing that gives me pause is the MLB portion.
Yeah.
I cannot lie to you. Hopefully he's not watching. If you are watching, we are in no way affiliated with Michigan State University. Please give us all favorable outcomes, just like Kevin Warren did, apparently, because his son played for the football team, and that's how we won all those games that 1 year.
Matt, if he's watching, the Big Ten's screwed, because he should have way better things to do in his first 2 days in charge.
And you know, you want to prove that you're a college football mega fan, you watch 50 minutes into SD4L on Wednesday night. So, like, he would really prove it if he's watching right now. But, and I'm sure that all this isn't in his control, what I'm about to bring up, but like I think about a league not doing a great job of marketing themselves recently, and that's going to be Major League Baseball. Again, I doubt this falls all on his shoulders, but that was just the one thing that I saw, because obviously incredibly impressive resume. I mean, just like everything you named, top to bottom, seems like he is incredibly qualified for the job, but yeah, it's just like, oh, great. the league that has really kind of lost the youth here because a lot of their decision making when it comes to marketing, whether it be on social media or just the publicity of all these players. But I digress. It is a little bit of a different beast going from Big Ten to MLB. So like maybe that there will be more favorable things that he can work with. But yeah, that's just one thing.
That was my first thought. That was my first thought because you look at the guys that are in baseball right now, the Bryce Harpers, the Mike Trouts, the Shohei Ohtanis.
Yeah.
These guys are not any less marketable than the guys that we kind of grew up on.
Yeah,
and
of course.
When you'd see the Ryan Howards of the world in every Subway commercial, and you'd see all these guys, their faces, casuals would know them.
Yep.
That's not the case with baseball these days. And like I said, the talent is not what's getting worse. So that was my first inclination. But luckily, he was mostly on the TV contract side, not actually marketing, not actually pushing the game forward.
Yep.
More of negotiations and business deals. But that's kind of where my first thought was as well.
That's all. I just throw a blanket over anyone that had like a C-suite position at MLB. It's like if you had anything to do with anything in the last 10 years, like I look at you with a sideways eye.
Right.
Like,
if you were the usher for like the AA affiliate of the Seattle Mariners, you just bad field. You're to blame.
The guy that's going to pump my beer at Comerica Park in about 2 months here. I'm doubtful about him too. But no, best of luck to you, Mr. Tony Petiti. Tell us how to say your name too. Call us or email us, and we'll get that straightened out here.
We'll create an email address, and then you can write and tell us.
That'd be perfect. Have a call-in number. Could you imagine if we had a call-in number this show? It'd be chaos. It'd be fun. Do we look into that one day?
We should look into that.
I like that.
We have a call-in number, and we have Will Hunter call in and ask you if you've seen a certain movie. And that would be... that'd get repetitive because it'd be no to every single movie.
That's kind of... Except Stuart Little, too.
What's the last movie you've seen, Matt? You don't have to tell me when, but just what was the title?
I watched Goodfellas 2 years ago on a plane.
Okay.
That's the last time I saw a movie.
Okay.
Yeah.
That wasn't your first time watching it, right?
It was 100% my first time watching it, yeah. Delightful film. I really enjoyed it. I would like to watch it again, but I know I'm not going to. So
you seen The Godfather?
I've seen The Godfather.
You seen The Godfather 2?
Negative.
But The Godfather 2 is better. So why have you seen the worst of the two?
I'll take your word for it.
It's literally in the Library of Congress. Like they have a vault where like if like something happens to Earth, like
I can't tell if you're lying or not.
No, like if a meteor comes in and like blows up Earth, right?
Yeah.
There's like a vault, allegedly.
Okay.
I think I read this somewhere. Maybe I'm making this up, but I believe it fully.
Yeah. Say it confidently, and I'm going to believe you no matter what.
So there's a vault.
Uh-huh.
The Library of Congress makes sure that if like the Earth blows up, right?
Yeah.
This vault, it's like fireproof, like bulletproof. Well, Earth's uninhabitable, so no one's gonna be shooting bullets at that point. But I digress.
You never know.
Waterproof.
Yeah. Okay.
And in this vault, whoever finds Earth one day it is habitable again, they will have a selection of movies. I don't know the number. In that vault is both of the Godfather films. And I believe it is the only franchise in the history of movies that has 2 films.
Wow. Okay.
From its franchise in said vault.
Wow. It's because the town never came up with a sequel. That's why.
This is true.
Once they do that, if you could put one MSU game in that vault for whatever specimen is on this Earth in 5043 to watch, what are you going with?
Probably going with this year's Michigan State Iowa basketball. No, I'm just kidding.
Why would he say that? Why would he say that? Even if it was the home game, that was still a nasty game. Like even if it was the one MSU won,
whatever the lowest scoring MSU basketball game is of the last 15 years, put that in there so the next like species knows what real basketball getting it out the mud is like.
Yes. Yeah, just a random January game from 2004 in the Big
9
Ten.
p.m. preferably tip-off.
When there's just blood all over the court. Yeah. I like that. Okay.
But honestly, I would probably say football, I'd have to think about it a little more.
Okay.
Basketball, I would say, if you can't just choose like a cop-out, like this Elite Eight or this Final Four.
Yeah.
I would probably say the Cassius Winston game against Michigan in the last few years.
Yeah. That's a good one.
That's probably what I would go with.
I might go with the Kenneth Walker 5 touchdown game against Michigan.
That's a good one.
So like the people 3 millennia from now like know who was the like premier alpha male in our species. And it was Kenneth Walker.
Right.
So I want that on the record for anyone that has any questions, centuries, millenniums in the future, or For basketball, this is kind of a different route to go about this. The MSU versus Duke Elite
Oh,
Eight
yeah,
game.
for
Because
sure.
they'll watch
Oh,
Zion
yeah.
Williamson, and then like this will be like a super species, and then they'll watch Zion. They'll be like, oh my God, he's one of us. This is great. But then he doesn't win, and I want to humble these people.
Yeah.
Like in the year 3,965. Like
Yeah.
I want them to know that like their reckoning can come at any given time, and it is
Right.
going to come by a man that looks just like Cassius Winston.
Yeah.
So yeah, keep them humble, keep them on their
Yeah.
toes. So two different ways to go
Yeah,
about
for
that.
sure. Yeah, that would be the game if you could choose any of them for sure.
I think so. Yeah.
In the last, at least last 20 years for me.
There we go.
Yeah. Sounds
Or
good.
the UConn versus Butler national title game if you're going to go for low scoring, where Butler had like 40 points or something like that. That's, yeah. Really excite them. Really get them revved up.
Not putting a UConn Butler game in the time capsule.
No, you're
unfortunately.
leaving that one out?
No.
Okay. Fine.
I believe that does it.
I was going to say, I'm looking at a blank sheet of paper in front of me right now. I think that's our show.
Yeah.
That's
well,
it.
that's a personal problem. You never pulled up the show sheet.
No,
but-
this screen's been black in front of me the entire time. I haven't charged this laptop in 3 weeks, so yeah, this is right.
And it's not like the camera
It's a
came.
prop.
But I believe that does it for this week's
did it
episode
again.
of the SD4L show. If not, then I don't know. Like maybe we'll tweet out whatever else we had to say.
Yeah, call us and we'll let you know what other thoughts we had driving home. Yeah, call us personally. We got you.
And with that, we believe that is it for this
Maybe.
week's episode of the SD4L show. And we will see you back here next week. Thanks for tuning in.
Please close your eyes, turn around, and count to 9. When you open them, I will be gone.